I stepped out to make sure that Mitch McConnell and the Republican establishment starts to have a Republican back, because you know what? Mitch McConnell wouldn't be majority leader if Donald Trump didn't drag a half a dozen senators across the goal line in November. So it's time for the Republican establishment to step up and have the back of President Trump.
Steve Bannon was chief strategist here at the White House. Now he is out of the White House. He's supporting down in Alabama that Senate primary Roy Moore up against the incumbent Luther Strange. The president's supporting Luther Strange. They're voting tonight. We'll have results, we assume, in a couple of hours, maybe a few hours. What does this say about the president's base and what it means back here? We're back with our panel. Bill, I want to start with you. This comes on a day when Republicans announced they were not going to vote on repeal and replace the Graham-Cassidy bill because they just didn't have the votes. So another loss, another try that fails. Now they turn to tax reform. What do you think this says about the president's base?
Well, the base in Alabama, I think, will behave in a way that a lot of people would not suspect. People say that Trump's base always listens to what he recommends. I don't think they're going to listen to what he recommends. I think they're going to go with the guy who's like Trump as opposed to the guy Trump likes. I think they're going to go with Roy Moore. I think he's going to win, and the people like the sound of what he's doing and what he's saying. And I think this will be a good lesson. People know what they want, and they have a sense about the political stakes in this, and they like Moore and they don't like Strange, who they think is part of the establishment. I'm still puzzled, maybe Julie or Steve can answer, why the president is supporting Luther Strange.
All right, Julie, give it a shot.
Well, he got a lot of pressure from the Republican establishment, from Mitch McConnell, from other senators who basically said, we need you. You're the leader of our party. This is a seat that we want to keep. We think Luther Strange would be the best candidate in a general election. And he said, OK, I'm going to do it. He has had, I've heard, some second guessing about that decision as he's seen
on Friday.
He's seen the polls. And Luther Strange has moved up in the polls. Most people that I talked to today think that he will probably still fall short. And anytime that you're the president and you throw your political capital behind a candidate, you go down to their state, you rally for them, you tell people to vote for them, and they don't vote for that candidate, it blows back on you a little bit. And Trump knows that. He's aware that he's put his political capital on the line, and I think he's regretting it a bit.
So there's some out there, Steve, who say maybe this is why the NFL dust-up kind of came to pass, because it was something else besides what may end up happening tonight. Who knows? Strange could pull it out. But I guess the question is does it reflect any kind of weakness in being able to get things across the finish line for this president?
I don't think it does, and I actually disagree. I don't often disagree with Julie's political analysis, and I do disagree with her in this case. I don't actually think this is likely to have much of an impact on Donald Trump either way, whatever the outcome. And I think if Luther Strange wins, there's no question Donald Trump will go out and chest thump a little bit and say, look, this was somebody who was weak, he was down in the polls, and I brought him across, and therefore I have more power, more political capital. People should want to be with me. If Roy Moore wins, Donald Trump will say, as he hinted that he would say at the rally the other day, I sort of really liked Roy Moore better anyway, and you saw all my people were with Roy Moore, and you know, this is a win for me. He's more like me, as Dr. Bennett says. I think he's going to claim victory regardless, and I think the situation in Alabama, I mean, most of Alabama are Trump supporters, and the battle that's taking place within the Republican Party down there, I think, has as much to do with local issues, maybe more, and recent political history there as it does with national issues.
Bill, I have 10 seconds here, but does the loss on health care, the fact that it couldn't get through today, does it reflect at all on tax reform as we get ready to unroll that tomorrow?
I sure hope not, but it wasn't good, and we had plenty of time to put it together. But it could be. I agree with Steve and Julie, actually. I'm the healer here. I think a slight loss for Trump, but a victory for Trumpism, the anti-establishment candidate, if Moore wins. But got to get this tax thing. I just wish we weren't spending this party $4 or $5 million as they're spending, because we're going to need this money in the campaigns later on.
Maybe more. All right, Bill, Steve, Julie, thank you. When we come back, bridging a historic gap with a tasty treat.
OfferUp is a new free app that shows you what people are selling nearby.
It's kind of like a game. Every day there are new surprises.
Come on, flat screen TV.
Oh, come on, dining room table.
Come on, sofa.
Yeah.
OfferUp is free to use. Find anything you want nearby.
You won't see these folks at the post office. They have businesses to run. They have passions to pursue. How do they avoid trips to the post office? Stamps.com. Mail letters, ship packages, all the services of the post office right on your computer. Get a 4-week trial plus $100 in extras, including postage and a digital scale. Go to stamps.com/TV and never go to the post office again.
He was an ordinary man, changed by an extraordinary event.
Sir, you are now the President of the United States.
With approval ratings through the roof. On ABC, Keeper is back.
Playtime is over.
In the White House drama.
Patrick Lloyd has killed over 1,000 people and he's threatening thousands more.
That will have America addicted again.
He's coming after my family.
Designated Survivor season premiere on ABC.
This week, the team you know, opinion you need, and talk you love. Keeping the conversation cutting edge like only they can. Welcome back to the 5 at 5, only on Fox News Channel.
Finally tonight, 2 baseball franchises known for their historic rivalry found common ground last night over nachos.
Russell racing over near the stands.
Chicago Cubs shortstop Addison Russell was chasing a fly ball, landed in the crowd. He didn't get the ball, but he did get covered in cheese when he spilled a Cardinal fan's nachos. Russell made the things right by a new plate of nachos. That's it for Special Report. Fair, balanced, and unafraid.
It is Wednesday, September 27th. From the sidelines to the House floor, Democrats escalating the national anthem debate to a new level.
I was ashamed of what was taking place. I don't think you can disrespect our country, our flag, our national anthem.
And I will call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
Has the NFL become a new tool of the left? We report, you decide.
And help is on the way. U.S. aid ships and aircraft arriving to the storm-damaged shores of Puerto Rico. They continue to arrive. And this morning, the dire situation there reaching a crisis level. How the Trump administration plans to bring some much-needed relief.
And rock icon Steven Tyler seeking immediate care after an unexpected health emergency. The message that the legendary frontman just sent to his fans. Fox and Friends First starts right now. Legendary frontman just sent to his fans. Fox and Friends First starts right now.
All right, you're watching Fox and Friends First on this Wednesday morning. I'm Rob Schmidt.
And I'm Heather Childers. But we begin with a Fox News alert for you right away. The Taliban claiming responsibility for a rocket attack targeting Defense Secretary James Mattis while on a trip to Afghanistan. Well, Fox News debate rages on. Good morning, Griff.
Good morning, Heather and Rob. The anthem protest has now spread to the House of Representatives, where Democrat Mark Pocan became the second member of Congress to take a knee in solidarity with some NFL players on the House floor.
It's a sign of love of country, a country with a promise that has to be for everyone, regardless of the color of their skin. So I join so many now in the NFL and elsewhere in taking a knee for the America that we all aspire it to be.
Pocan follows Sheila Jackson Lee, who was the first member to kneel, but President Trump doubled down in the Rose Garden on his opposition to NFL players taking a knee, calling it an important situation.
I was ashamed of what was taking place because, to me, that was a very important moment. I don't think you can disrespect our country, our flag, our national anthem. To me, the NFL situation is a very important situation.
And one member of Congress, Representative Al Green, is calling for the president's impeachment over this issue.
I rise to announce that on next week, Mr. Speaker, I will bring a privileged resolution before the Congress of the United States of America. I will stand here in the well of the Congress, and I will call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
Now, this is the second time since July that Green has called for the president's impeachment. And just for the record, guys, sessions of Congress do not open with the national anthem. And finally, back to the Steelers. The NFL Steelers owner Art Rooney issuing a statement yesterday, further clarifying that his team never intended to disrespect anyone. Guys?
Not ever yet.
Okay, Griff, thanks so much.
Although we wish it would be,
yeah,
some of us.
I know.
Well, let's turn to some other news now. The wife of American sniper Chris Kyle boldly challenging the NFL to get off its knees in response to the national protest. Taya Kyle writing an open letter to the league, slamming it over its appearance of unity. And quote, football was really a metaphor for our ideal world, different backgrounds, talents, political beliefs, and histories, as one big team with one big goal, to do well, to win together. You are asking us to abandon what we have loved about togetherness and make choices of division. Kyle also calling on players to fight for their causes off the field instead of just on the sidelines.
All right, conservative radio talk show host Rush Limbaugh weighing in on the anthem protests after tuning in to watch the Dallas Cowboys take on the Arizona Cardinals on Monday night.
We're dealing with liberalism here, and we're dealing with the left, and that's just not how they operate. Everybody knows how much I love the NFL and how bigger than life it's always seemed to me, but it doesn't seem bigger than life. It just seems like a tool now. It has become something being used by the political forces of the left to advance their agenda, which is an anti-American agenda.
Well, that's his take. Limbaugh says the protests are taking the lifeblood out of a game that Americans have loved for years.
Well, President Trump heads to Indiana today to push his tax reform plan aimed at boosting American businesses.
We will cut taxes tremendously for the middle class, not just a little bit, but tremendously.
Several Indiana lawmakers will join the president, including Democrat Senator Joe Donnelly at the event. This after Senator Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota appeared with the president at a rally earlier this month. You may remember that. Well, the Trump administration will be releasing an outline of the tax relief plan later today.
And we'll talk more about that coming up in the next half hour. More details on that. Anti-establishment candidate Roy Moore getting a big win in the Alabama Senate runoff.
As long as it's constitutional, as long as it advances our society, our culture, our country, I will be supportive.
This is that big race we've been talking about all week, the race to replace the Senate seat that was held by now Attorney General Jeff Sessions. High-profile endorsements on both sides in this race. President Trump backing Moore's opponent, Senator Luther Strange.
The president took a chance. He didn't have to come down. I'm sure he'll be criticized for coming to campaign for me. Sometimes it's more than politics. Sometimes it's about just a friendship, just a common goal to make the country better.
So the man that the president supported did lose there, but the man that people said was more like the president actually won. President Trump tweeting congratulations to Roy Moore on his Republican primary win in Alabama. Luther Strange started way back and ran a good race. Roy win in December, and Moore will now face off against Democrat Doug Jones in December.
And President Trump said that he will campaign for him. So how will Moore's win set the stage for the 2018 midterms?
Yeah, here now to weigh in is the founder of American Majority and former presidential writer for President George W. Bush, Ned Ryan. Thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good to be with you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and so this was a big win for Roy Moore. Obviously, he didn't have the backing of the president in a state that loves the president. How did he pull this off, and what does it mean?
Well, I mean, there are a couple of dynamics that were at play in Alabama. First, this was really about the people of Alabama saying, are we going to let a former corrupt governor and the D.C. establishment pick our senator, or are we? And the second dynamic at play was, this is really a repudiation and a bit of a, rejection of Mitch McConnell's lack of leadership in the U.S. Senate and pushing forward the America First agenda. So if you look at those two dynamics, again, I think if Luther Strange had not accepted that appointment from Governor Bentley,
Who he was investigating, right?
Luther Strange would have, that's right, Luther Strange would have been a shoo-in last night, and I think that cannot be understated. But I really do think this sets the tone for 2018 and various primaries around the country, because if Mitch McConnell and the D.C. establishment can spend $30 million to try and protect Luther Strange and he loses by double digits, nobody's protected anymore.
So let's take a look at the final tally. Roy Moore, 54.9%, and Luther Strange, 45.1%, won by a margin of over 44,000 votes. Did you expect it to be that wide of a margin? And what does this say? You know, a lot of people were saying that it was Bannon versus President Trump, and Bannon won this round.
You know, this was really, first of all, to the first issue, I really think this was just about Trump voters saying, listen, President Trump, we love you, but we love Roy Moore more. The second point is, I looked yesterday at some poll numbers. I'd actually been calling for a 5 to 6 point Roy Moore win. I actually saw some numbers yesterday, and I bumped it up to 10 or 12 because this was one of those things, and I think it would have been 15 points if President Trump had not come down and rallied on behalf of Luther Strange on Friday.
It certainly was a healthy victory.
It was a healthy victory, but it was one of those things that if you saw the poll numbers and looked at them, you realized Roy Moore was going to win. The only thing I needed the polls were to understand how much he was going to win by. And again, I called a 10 or 12 point win last night.
I just have to ask you, though, real quick, not to cut in, but I mean, I was trying to figure out this whole time, you know, obviously it must have been a request from McConnell or maybe a favor called in to the president that McConnell needed this. He said, go out there and go for our guy, Luther Strange, because everything, it just seems like Trump would have naturally gone behind Roy Moore in this all the way. And everybody was trying to figure out, why does the president like Luther Strange? Because he's not establishment.
That's right. And I think Roy Moore, again, this is a dynamic that President Trump should fully understand. Last year, understanding that people wanted more of an outsider, not a D.C. establishment person. And again, 2016 was all about that, and I think we're seeing that continue to play out. I think, honestly, President Trump got some bad advice. I think hopefully this morning he will wake up and examine who's giving him political advice. But the thing I would tell President Trump is this: do not listen to what I consider the corrupt consultant class who have their own priorities, not his. And so that's one thing that I think Trump moving forward has to understand. There are people in D.C. that do not have his best interests in mind. Therefore, do not listen to their advice.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. We'll see what happens in the midterms.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Certainly. All right. Thank you. All right. No food, no water, no power. A very dire situation in hurricane-ravaged Puerto Rico. This has been happening for days now, growing more desperate by the hour.
The White House now stepping up recovery efforts as President Trump plans a trip to the devastated area. Garrett Tenney joins us with the latest. Garrett.
The Trump administration is increasing its disaster assistance for Puerto Rico, providing more support for debris removal and emergency protective measures. President Trump is set to witness the damage here firsthand when he visits next Tuesday.
We are literally unloading on an hourly basis water, food, supplies. We have our top people from FEMA and our first responders and everybody else.
That announcement came after the president faced some harsh criticism for his response to the crisis. Democratic lawmakers took issue with his string of weekend tweets about the NFL, and one suggesting Puerto Rico's debt contributed to the situation here.
Unfortunately, what we've seen from the White House over the weekend has been a diversion, a distraction to really nonsensical issues.
To the president again, if you don't take this crisis seriously, this is going to be your Katrina.
The 1-2 punch of Hurricanes Irma and Maria devastated the island, which is home to more than 3 million Americans. Basic necessities like food and water are hard to come by, and most of the island is still without power, and there aren't enough generators or diesel fuel to run them.
We have no electricity, we have no water, we have people without the roofs, and we have people without houses.
Military planes are bringing in supplies, but you can see there are still long lines all across San Juan for some of the basic necessities of life: food, water, and gas, and it will still be days before that help can reach some parts of the country. In San Juan, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
Well, the time now is about 11 minutes after the top of the hour, and it became the rallying cry for President Trump's campaign.
Build that wall, build that wall, build that wall.
We've heard it over and over, and now it is happening. We will take you inside the construction of the southern border wall.
And remember the passenger dragged off of a flight because it was overbooked? What a mess this was. Well, the airline that now wants passengers to bid to avoid something like this. We'll explain.
And from Super Bowl champ to senator, have you heard about this rumor? Peyton Manning could soon have a new title, and social media apparently loves it.
It's 6 a.m. 40 million Americans are waking up to a Gillette shave. And at our factory in Boston, 1,200 workers are starting their day building on over 100 years of heritage, craftsmanship, and innovation. Today, we're bringing you America's #1 shave at lower prices every day, putting money back in the pockets of millions of Americans. As one of those workers, I'm proud to bring you Gillette quality for less, because nobody can beat the men and women of Gillette. Gillette, the best a man can get.
BP uses FLIR cameras, a new thermal imaging technology, to inspect difficult-to-reach pipelines so we can detect leaks before humans can see them. Because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Today's Best Western is more rewarding than ever. Rewards members get our best rates and points that never expire. Fast forward to a free night by earning double rewards points with every stay. Go get rewarded. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Kevin, meet your father.
Kevin.
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 Kevin. Kevin.
Kevin.
Trusted advice for life.
Kevin, how's your mom?
Life well planned. See what a Raymond James financial advisor can do for you.
My name is Chris Brown, and I'm CEO of Vestas Americas. Vestas is the largest manufacturer of wind turbines in the world. Last year, Vestas spent $1.3 billion in the USA. We have 6,000 employees across all 50 states and 4 factories right here in Colorado. This story isn't unique to Vestas. Wind is powering American jobs, over 100,000 and counting. Wind energy equals jobs. It's that simple. Wind energy is true American power.
How do you chase what you love with moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis? Do what I did. Ask your doctor about Humira. It's proven to help relieve pain and protect joints from further irreversible damage in many adults. Humira works by targeting and helping to block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to RA symptoms. Humira has been clinically studied for over 20 years.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB. Hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ready for a new chapter? Talk to your rheumatologist about Humira. This is Humira at Work.
All right, a milestone reached in one of President Trump's biggest campaign promises.
We will begin working on an impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall.
He loves this wall. Crews officially breaking ground to start building border wall prototypes in California, where, of course, they can't stand the idea. Jackie Ibanez here with a first look at what we're talking about. Hey, Jackie.
Hey, good morning, Rob. Welcome. First, just yards from the U.S.-Mexico border in San Diego County. Over the next 30 days, 6 companies will build a total of 8 wall models. Half of them will use concrete and the others will use a variety of materials, we're told. Now, once they're complete, the Department of Homeland Security will run specific tests to find which one will work best for the more than 2,000-mile southern border.
The wall prototypes will be between 18 and 30 feet tall and designed to deter illegal entries. The prototypes will inform future designs and influence the standards which will likely continue to evolve with the U.S. Border Patrol's requirements.
Congress is now working to pass nearly $2 billion to start funding the wall for what the chief of the Border Patrol deems fully necessary in the fight to protect our borders.
Having worked for 29 years along the border, it has been a constant evolution. Here in San Diego, we are arresting over 500,000 people, illegal entrants a year. With the implementation of border infrastructure, technology, and personnel, that is reduced dramatically.
An area of roadway by the construction site has been blocked off as a free speech zone for people who want to peacefully protest there. San Diego County officials have banned all weapons in anticipation of possible protests. President Trump says he intends to pick the winning prototype himself, and as the head of the executive branch, he does have the authority to award government contracts. Heather, Rob, here we go.
And just remember that all the protesters out there, President Obama, then Senator Obama, and Hillary Clinton both voted for a border wall back in 2006. So that is the interesting thing for everybody that's going to protest the wall. Jackie, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Well, the national anthem protests are now moving from the football field to Capitol Hill as a second Democrat takes a knee on the House floor.
Join so many now in the NFL and elsewhere in taking a knee for the America that we all aspire it to be.
Well, these supposed calls to action are also being followed by even louder calls for impeachment. And joining me now to weigh in is Fox News political analyst and the founder of Caldwell Strategic Consulting, Gianno Caldwell. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, Heather.
So the first question is, what is the point now? I mean, we began with Colin Kaepernick, and he had 1 point. But is the point now to protest Donald Trump, and are we losing the initial message in all of this?
It absolutely is. And I'll tell you, Heather, NFL players are taking the lazy way out. And I say that because if the original intent was to protest racism, which we can thank the Democratic Party for giving us institutional racism, then they would have been on the Hill with me and the leaders of the 2020 Leaders of America last week as we were going across Capitol Hill lobbying people like Senator Chuck Grassley in favor of criminal justice reform. At this particular point, this has become nothing more than an anti-Trump demonstration, and it's very problematic. Because at this point in our country where there's division seemingly everywhere, we need time to get together, and time to get together generally is usually when it comes to watching the NFL and other sports teams.
So in essence, the Democrats are doing a disservice to the message of racism in America by taking it over and making it about Donald Trump instead. In terms of the divisions, you know, people blaming President Trump, people blaming the football players, people blaming Democrats. Who's responsible and who can change it?
You know, what's interesting in terms of this protest, now we have to be very honest, President Trump has made this a lot worse than it initially was, and him putting his name in a hat with this has caused a bit of a stir. And I think one thing President Trump has to realize is he is the president. He's no longer a celebrity in general where he puts his voice in these issues and make them even bigger.
Yeah.
I think when it
Along
comes
with
to
the language that he used as well.
Exactly. That SOB language, I think, was rather disgusting in my view. But in this particular scenario, the message has been completely hijacked, and now it's completely and totally a anti-Trump demonstration, whether we're talking about on Capitol Hill with people like Sheila Jackson-Lee, who says she's in favor of criminal justice reform, but according to sources on Capitol Hill, every time there's a bill that comes up that can make some incremental changes, she's generally speaking against it, especially if it's a Republican proposing that language.
So how do we end this, Gianno? That's what I keep asking. You know, is the media also perpetuating the story? We keep talking about it, and it seems to be spreading. How do we end it?
You know what's interesting? I was on air with Neil Cavuto the other day, and we were discussing the church shooting, which no one heard about unless you turned on Fox News. That was the only way you heard about it, because the media wants to perpetuate. Whatever is going to be a distraction, whatever is going to divide us more is what they want to focus on, not the things that really impact our country and the individuals within it. So
Gianni, I have to wrap you up. Thank you for joining us.
Very good.
Hard break. We'll be right back.
How do we say that this fall our guests can earn a free night when they book at choicehotels.com and stay with us just 2 times?
Fall time, bada book, bada boom.
Pumpkin spice cookie?
I'm good.
Book now at choicehotels.com.
Making an entrance is a tradition that never goes out of style. Get up to 60% off most everything at Joseph A. Bank. Find executive suits for just $199 and all traveler dress shirts $39. The 60% off sale, only at Joseph A. Bank.
Where are we? About to see Progressive's new Home Quote Explorer, where you can compare multiple quote options online and choose what's right for you.
Whoa.
Flo and Jamie here to see HQX. Flo and Jamie, request entry. Slovakia. Triceratops. Tapioca. Racquetball. Staccato.
Me llamo Jaime.
pumpernickel, pudding.
Hey, guys. Home Quote Explorer. It's home insurance made easy.
That's what it is. Hey, guys.
Have you lost money on your investments? Don't blame yourself. Your stockbroker or financial advisor may have withheld information, suggested unsuitable investments, or even just plain lied to you. Whether your losses are big or small, if you suspect your money has been mismanaged, call Sokolov Law now and let us try to recover some or all of your hard-earned money. Call Sokolov Law today at 1-800-984-LOSS. That's 1-800-984-LOSS. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Two Hannity exclusives. Tonight, Paul Ryan talks tax reform in a powerful sit-down. Thursday, a can't-miss interview with Rush Limbaugh, only on Hannity.
Antivirus is always running with the highest privileges to block and delete files, transmit information, and perform unspecified updates. Can any home, business, or government agency trust an antivirus made in Russia? According to the media, we can't. So, who can we trust? Every other antivirus does its research and development in foreign countries. Only PCmatic is 100% American, including malware research and development. PCmatic is state-of-the-art technology, including 1, a patent-pending whitelist that defeats ransomware and polymorphic viruses, and 2, malicious script blocking that cripples virus infections. The end result is 100% detection rates on every public test. And none of our homes, businesses, or government agencies have been infected this year. Trust PCmatic, America's antivirus. Defeat ransomware.
And welcome back. Football fans angry over the national anthem protest, and there are a lot of them, could be getting some cash back.
Isn't that interesting? Tracy Carrasco from our sister network Fox Business here to explain how this works. Hey, Tracy.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, DirecTV is letting customers who are upset about all of this national anthem drama cancel their their Sunday ticket to watch these games. Now, this is a pricey ticket. It's about $280. Normally, they don't let people cancel, but because of this, they are letting some people cancel. It could really hurt them in the long run. And then also, you know, viewership is down. Nielsen ratings say it's down 11% so far this season. That's compared to last year. Yes.
Okay.
Well, speaking of saving money, or is it more expensive or less expensive? I don't know. I don't drink orange juice. $7 orange juice?
Pretty pricey.
Yes, you know, even if you were not in Florida directly impacted by Hurricane Irma, you could be impacted if you drink orange juice. That's because 30 to 70% of the crop there was destroyed by the hurricane. So you're going to be paying more, about $2.30 more a gallon for orange juice, which could hike up the price all the way up to $7. Now, our only hope right now is Brazil. If they can import some of their oranges here, then we can, you know, hopefully the prices will go down.
Yeah, hopefully. I love orange juice. We're getting into the time of the year where we need it, too.
Yeah.
And finally, the geniuses at the airlines have figured out that you don't just throw somebody off the plane, you know, if they don't take $1,000 to book another flight. I can't believe it took them this long to figure this out after what happened. But they're now saying you can bid on a price. If you got to get booted, the highest bidder gets to leave. Or explain it to us. I'm not saying it right.
So this is all, as you said, you know, in response to that now infamous video we saw of that United passenger. So United is letting passengers make a bid. How much will it take you to get off of this overbooked flight? Delta already has something in place like this, and they're testing it out, see how it goes, and then they'll soon roll it out. But hopefully it'll go better than that video.
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean,
no more scenes like that.
No.
Couldn't believe it when that happened. All right, Tracy, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right, 26 minutes after the hour, professional athletes taking a knee during the national anthem. Do they really know what they're protesting?
I don't think they know the story of the flag. I don't think they know about this Iwo Jima memorial. And children become adults and they act out different roles in society, and we're seeing the result of that.
Why these players may want a history lesson before they disrespect our nation's flag.
takes a second for an everyday item to become dangerous. New Tide Pods Child Guard Pack helps keep your laundry pack safe and your child safer. Align, press, and unzip.
Traffic is backed up. There's an accident on the freeway that hasn't been cleared yet. Roads are not too bad.
When heartburn hits, fight back fast with Tums Smoothies. It starts dissolving the instant it touches your tongue and neutralizes stomach acid at the source. Smoothies, only from Tums.
Lightning, one of the most powerful forces in nature that can create fire. Now harness the power of lightning in the palm of your hand. Hi, I'm Hunter Ellis, and that's why I always carry the Tactical Atomic Lighter, the fuel-free rechargeable lighter that works anywhere, anytime. The secrets are lightning bolt technology. Just watch how quickly this incredible new plasma technology creates fire without gas or butane. Just press the button and it lights the first time, every time. You get over 100 lights on a single charge, and it's rechargeable by USB, so it's always good to go. From lighting birthday candles to cleaning up the end of a rope or firing up a stogie, it's the best. If you need fire, you need the Atomic Lighter. There's no flint, so even if it gets wet, it lights. Bonfires, barbecues, or backyard fireworks, nothing compares to the Atomic Lighter. Unlike feeble, pathetic lighters that blow out with a whisper, this thing will never let you down, even during the windiest rainstorm. Freeze it in a block of ice, it still works. Run it over with a 10-ton tactical vehicle, and it keeps on working. That's what I call Atomic Tough. The Atomic Lighter can be yours for just $19.99. You'll also get a lifetime guarantee, and you can personalize it with custom engraving up to 3 initials to keep or to give as a one-of-a-kind gift. And if you order now, you can double it and get a second Atomic Lighter, plus our best-selling Atomic Beam USA, the super bright tactical flashlight that lights up an entire room and can take a beating. From extreme temperatures to a sledgehammer. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now and we'll ship them to you for free. That's right. Get 2 Atomic Lighters, the Atomic Beam USA, and free shipping and handling. But you have to order right now. Here's how to get yours.
Call 1-800-698-5376. That's 1-800-698-5376. Or visit AtomicLighter.com. So call 1-800-698-5376. Deluxe version available. Order now.
Make cars fly. I love turning old stuff into something amazing. I want to plant a garden for the whole world.
We grow up, but we never stop dreaming. Here at Coke, we challenge ourselves and the status quo to produce innovations like renewable fuel, more energy-efficient vehicles, and food for all. Because what drives us most is challenge itself.
Welcome back to Fox and Friends First, and a Fox News alert is where we begin. The Taliban claiming responsibility for a rocket attack targeting Defense Secretary James Mattis while on a trip to Afghanistan. You're looking at some new video of the airport in Kabul. That is where Fox News has learned that nearly 50 rockets were launched shortly after Mattis left. He had left the scene. It is being reported that only 6 rockets landed near the airport and there were no casualties.
And most importantly, the Defense Secretary did get off safely and get out of Afghanistan. This was his first trip to Afghanistan since the president announced a new military strategy there. And of course, we're still getting information coming in on this story. Stay with Fox and Friends as this breaking story does develop.
But right now, from the sidelines to the House floor, back at home, the Take a Knee protest and backlash is intensifying.
Yeah, this is tensions escalate nationwide. President Trump not backing down, instead ramping up his fight against the NFL.
And Griff Jenkins live in our nation's capital, where the free speech debate rages on. Good morning, Griff.
Good morning, Heather and Rob. Yes, the House of Representatives now are taking the knee. Wisconsin Democrat Mark Pocan became the second member to do so on the House floor.
It's a sign of love of country, a country with a promise that has to be for everyone, regardless of the color of their skin. So I join so many now in the NFL and elsewhere in taking a knee for the America that we all aspire it to be.
Pocan follows Sheila Jackson Lee, who was the first member to kneel, but President Trump doubling down in the Rose Garden on his opposition to the players taking a knee, calling it an important situation.
I was ashamed of what was taking place because to me that was a very important moment. I don't think you can disrespect our country, our flag, our national anthem. To me, the NFL situation is a very important situation.
And it didn't stop with kneeling. One member of Congress, Representative Al Green of Texas, is calling for the president's impeachment over this issue.
I rise to announce that on next week, Mr. Speaker, I will bring a privileged resolution before the Congress of the United States of America. I will stand here in the well of the Congress, and I will call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
Now, for the record, this is the second time since July that Green has called for the president's impeachment. So, guys, we certainly haven't heard the last of this issue.
Definitely not. All right. Thank you so much, Griff.
Griff, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so the big question is, how many people in this country, what do they think? Do they think that you should be allowed to kneel for the anthem, or do they think you should stand?
Yeah, the majority of people, as you might expect, 64% of Americans say that NFL players should stand for the national anthem, and that maybe the others need a history lesson.
That's right. It reminds me so much of the monument debacle that we went through maybe a month or two ago, where everybody wanted to tear down all of these national monuments, and I think it was more understanding of people that anything that was for a Confederate leader was understandable. But then they started talking about taking down monuments of people like George Washington and others like Madison who owned slaves,
and changing the names of schools.
And people were resoundingly against that.
Yeah. The other thing is that we talked about yesterday too. Back in 2009, I find it ironic that the Obama administration paid the National Football League to be patriotic. They had to stand for the national anthem then because they were getting money, but now they want, this to happen. And it's not equal on both sides, as you were saying.
Exactly. That's very right. That's very true. Let's look at another poll here. Is the national anthem at a game the right place to protest? 60% there is a more appropriate place to protest. 31% say they support the right to free speech and to do whatever you want, even during our national anthem. 9% unsure, didn't want to touch it, as you might expect.
Well, and now it seems that the whole message has been hijacked by Democrats, so perhaps there is a different place if these football players do want to continue with this purpose of, raising awareness of racism in America, do it somewhere else.
Right, and there was a great soundbite last night on Special Report with Bret Baier. Here's Bill Bennett, former Education Secretary.
I'll put my education secretary hat on and say, I don't think people know American history. I don't think they know the story of the flag. Francis Scott Key, Frank Key, watching that flag as the British battered it all night long and it was still standing. I don't think they know about this Iwo Jima memorial over there where those guys are putting the flag up on Mount Suribachi. And I don't think they know, unless they saw the movie Glory, about that Sergeant William Carney who would not, born a slave, part of the 54th Massachusetts, would not let the flag fall to the ground. I always bring a lot of things back to the schools, what we teach, but Plato said the single most important thing is who gets to teach the children and what do they teach them. And children become adults and they act out different roles in society, and we're seeing the result of that.
Very true. And people they actually think they don't need to learn these lessons because they can Google it. You can just Google it these days.
Very true. And it was a great point. Who is teaching our kids?
Absolutely.
Isn't that the scariest thing of all?
Yeah. Well, it will continue, no doubt.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, the Department of Homeland Security is expanding the kinds of information that it collects on immigrants, including social media and internet search data. Starting next month, all social media history, including Facebook posts and Google, as we mentioned, will be searched. This will apply to not only recent immigrants, but also green card holders and naturalized citizens as well. It goes into effect October 18th.
All right, women in Saudi Arabia just given a green light to drive just now. The foreign ministry posting the royal decree on Twitter, writing, quote, King Salman issues order allowing women to drive. It took this long. It's incredible. President Trump commending the change, calling it a, quote, positive step. That law will go into effect in June. Amazing.
Well, this sure beats a yellow cab. Dubai testing out the world's first unmanned, do you want to try this? Flying taxi. Yes.
Wait till they start bumping into each other. The two-seater can fly for 30 minutes at up to 60 miles per hour, powered by clean electricity and engineered to fly very quiet. No word yet on when the public can step on board, but
looks like a giant drone.
It does look like a big drone helicopter kind of thing. What a crazy idea.
It's like the Jetsons.
That's right.
They're here. Janice Dean joins us now to talk about the weather. So, Janice, what do you think about that?
What, the Jetsons thing?
Yeah.
I love the Jetsons. Bring it on.
What happens when two hit each other and then they just drop to the ground?
Come on.
Then
Where's
you're in
your
trouble.
sense of adventure, Rob?
Yeah,
Come on.
I'm not that adventurous.
You and me, let's go up there and try that out.
All right.
Okay, we're still talking about Maria, but the good news is Maria's almost out of here, and we're not talking about a hurricane anymore. Thank goodness. Tropical storm. Still looking at rip currents, high surf. Do not go in the water if you're not a seasoned swimmer. And then we're going to be saying goodbye to Maria. But look. Hello, Lee. The good thing about Lee is going to remain out to sea. Bye-bye, Lee. Let's look at your forecast. Very warm across the eastern half of the country. That's going to end today. Chicago, 7 straight days of record-setting highs. That's going to end today with 73 degrees. We're looking at the potential for showers, thunderstorms across the southwest into parts of Texas. Southeast Texas remains dry, but we're going to see the potential for flash flooding, unfortunately, for South Texas up towards Oklahoma City. And then the temperatures are going to drop. So 83 in New York. Watch this. 76, 70, 67 on Saturday. So here comes fall. I don't know. What do you think?
I listened to that, and I think the leaves will be changing, and that's beautiful.
I like that.
Yes.
What about you, Rob? You're a summer guy.
It's the best time of the year. I mean, I love summer, but fall's the best.
I like it.
All right, Janice,
nice
thanks
to
so much.
see you guys.
Thanks.
38 minutes after the hour, Taya Kyle, wife of American sniper Chris Kyle, slamming the NFL players, claiming they're protesting for unity. Your social media comments pouring in on this story.
And listen to this. Birth control being sold in vending machines of the college where students say that it's actually necessary.
Plus, the former Democratic IT staffer accused of stealing American secrets now has a new target to blame, and that is his child's homework. We'll explain.
Well, this would be. Now, I don't claim to be an student.
Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? No, sir, no, sir. Some nincompoop stole all my wool sweaters, smart TV, and gaming system. Luckily, the Geico Insurance Agency recently helped Baba with renter's insurance. Everything stolen was replaced, and the hooligan who lives down the lane was caught selling the stolen goods online. Visit geico.com and see how easy it is to switch and save on renter's insurance.
He was an ordinary man, changed by an extraordinary event.
Sir, you are now the President of the United States.
With approval ratings through the roof. On ABC, Keeper is back.
Playtime is over.
In the White House drama.
Patrick Lloyd has killed over 1,000 people, and he's threatening thousands more.
That will have America addicted again.
He's coming after my family.
Designated Survivor, season premiere on ABC.
When you have type 2 diabetes, you manage your A1C, but you also have a higher risk of heart attack or stroke. Non-insulin Victoza lowers A1C and now reduces cardiovascular risk.
Victoza lowers my A1C and blood sugar better than the leading branded pill.
And for people with type 2 diabetes treating cardiovascular disease, Victoza is now approved to lower the risk of major cardiovascular events such as heart attack, stroke, or death.
And while it isn't for weight loss, Victoza may help you lose some weight.
Victoza is not for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not take Victoza if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to Victoza or any of its ingredients. Stop taking Victoza and get medical help right away if you get symptoms of a serious allergic reaction such as rash, swelling, difficulty breathing or swallowing. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis. So stop taking Victoza and call your doctor right away if you have severe pain in your stomach area. Tell your doctor your medical history. Gallbladder problems have happened in some people. Tell your doctor right away if you get symptoms. Taking Victoza with the sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Common side effects are nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, decreased appetite, indigestion, and constipation. Side effects can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
Ask your doctor about Victoza.
People would ask me in different countries that we traveled, what is your nationality? And I would always answer Hispanic. So when I got my Ancestry DNA results, it was a shocker. I'm everything. I'm from all nations. I would look at forms now and wonder, what do I mark? Because I'm everything, and I marked other.
Discover the story only your DNA can tell. Order your kit now at AncestryDNA.com.
All right, welcome back. Remember Ethan Couch right here? The affluenza teen who was let off easy on manslaughter charges after he said he was too rich to know any better after he killed people while drunk driving. Well, now a similar case in England causing some outrage. 24-year-old Lavinia Woodward, seen here, showing nothing but smiles as she walks out of court after a judge called her too bright for jail. The Oxford University student and aspiring surgeon walking free after stabbing her boyfriend during an alcohol and drug-fueled frenzy. The judge allowing her to take a course instead of going to jail in order to save her chances for a medical career because clearly she's too smart to end up in prison. Heather?
I wasn't too smart to do that. Well, first NFL players and now kids are joining the national anthem protest. About 140 high school and middle school students in the Oakland, California honor band taking a knee before playing. The students even blaming President Trump.
They like bash NFL players, but not like call out, neo-Nazis for their violence.
Well, the band first taking a knee last year when Colin Kaepernick started the protest. Well, the wife of American sniper Taya Kyle has a message for the NFL, and she's not holding back.
That's right. Carly Shimkus with Fox News Headlines 24/7, Sirius XM 115, here with her very powerful response for the NFL players taking a knee.
Yeah, that's right. This is the Facebook post that has everyone talking about today. We've seen a lot of different groups of people respond to the NFL's national anthem protest. Some people are applauding it. Others are so angry that they're burning their NFL gear. And now the wife of late Navy SEAL Chris Kyle, Taya Kyle, has responded in an open letter to the NFL urging players to get off their knees. Now, here is a direct quote. Football was really a metaphor for our ideal world. Different backgrounds, talents, political beliefs, and histories as one big team with one big goal, to do well, to win together. She goes on to urge the NFL to stop focusing on anger and division and start playing ball. So her words are going viral online. One Twitter user called it the best response that she's ever seen to the NFL failure. Mike also chimed in saying, your family continues to lead by example and give to this country. Amazing. Ginger on Twitter also called her response amazing, and she said that there's so much truth in the letter, and she says blessings to you. Her husband will never be forgotten. If you want to read that whole letter, you can find it on her official Facebook page, also on foxnews.com. Who better to listen to and learn by than her in this instance?
Absolutely. She deserves to have an opinion on this.
Yeah, and our very own Brett Baer was helping to spread this online yesterday about Peyton Manning. Yes.
Yeah, you know, what's Peyton Manning been up to these days? That's the big question. You know, this guy has had the initials QB in front of his name his whole life. But what about the letters S-E-N? Senator. So after news broke that Tennessee Senator Bob Corker will be retiring after his term, Peyton Manning's name was actually floated as a possible replacement. Now, Tennessee Congressman Scott DesJarlais added fuel to that fire by saying, well, maybe Peyton Manning might not be interested in 2018, but he could be interested in 2020. So you know social media and Brett Baer is going to be responding to this. Christian says, does that mean Tennessee will get discounted Papa John's? And then Kyle said that this phrase should be said in the nationwide jingle voice. So I guess he wants us to read it as Peyton Manning, Senator. Got a nice little ring to it, right?
Is there any basis for this? Did he ever say anything about politics? Or
not that we know, but maybe Scott DesJarlais has a little inside information. He told
me. You had me all excited, like he was really already in. All right.
Yeah, I was thinking announcer. My husband thought maybe coach. Never thought politics.
Oh, coach would be good.
And speaking of Twitter, the president probably very happy this morning because he's going to get some more space on Twitter.
Yeah,
right?
Good news for people with a whole lot to say. So Twitter made a big announcement saying that they are possibly expanding the character limit from 140 characters, that's the historical amount of characters that you're allowed to tweet in, to 280. So right now, they're just testing this out with a small group of people. But of course, people on Twitter have some big opinions on this. People don't like change, so a lot of people are complaining, leading Ben to say this. For everyone complaining about Twitter expanding to 280 characters, you know you don't have to use them all, right? So he's got a pretty good point there. Another Twitter user says, with 280 characters on Twitter now, expect autobiographies. It does seem like a pretty big amount of letters, but I kind of like this idea, because have you ever had the perfect tweet, but you're just like 3 characters off?
Yeah,
you got to go back and delete spaces and stuff.
But people won't just do 3 characters.
Right.
They're just going to be these long tweets now.
It'll be worse than Facebook with just
it
rants
takes away
and
the
complaints.
Kind of more like Facebook, absolutely.
Carly,
All right, guys.
thanks so much. Let's go over to Steve now, see what's coming up on Fox and Friends.
Good morning.
I only send emojis, usually happy faces or a thumbs up. Just saying. All right, coming up on Fox and Friends, Florida Congressman and former Army Ranger, who's also a double amputee, Brian Mast, the congressman from Florida, is going to join us. He posted that powerful Facebook photo in response to the NFL protests. Says the protesters should already be gone. And we have a big show. Today, the guests include Kellyanne Conway, special advisor to the president, and the Attorney General for the United States of America, Jeff Sessions. A busy 3 hours kicks off 12 and a half minutes from right now, right here on the channel you trust for your morning news. Fox and Friends first, back in a couple of minutes.
Today's Best Western is more rewarding than ever. Rewards members get our best rates and points that never expire. Fast forward to a free night by earning double rewards points with every stay. Go get rewarded. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Whether it's new business, new boss, or new romance, these are the designer moments. Now at Men's Warehouse, designer suits start at $279, plus buy one, get one free on select items. You're gonna like the way you look in a designer suit.
Start the interview with a firm handshake. I know! Don't do that! Try Head & Shoulders Instant Relief. It cools on contact and also keeps you 100% flake-free. Try Head & Shoulders Instant Relief for cooling relief in a snap. Nothing to do.
Growing jobs, paychecks, and the economy? Inside the GOP's tax plan promises. Kevin Brady explains the party's overhaul tonight on Your World.
We needed to hire someone, but it was really tough finding people that had the right experience.
I was spending half my day just reading resumes.
To hire great people, go to ZipRecruiter.com and post to over 100 of the web's leading job boards with one click. Then easily select the best candidates from one list.
I'm seeing a lot more candidates with the right experience.
We have gotten consistently better results from ZipRecruiter than anywhere else.
Over 1 million businesses have already used ZipRecruiter. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/Fox.
Ready, Daddy?
Thank you, VSP.
Lost your vision coverage? Enroll today in an affordable individual vision plan direct from VSP.
Look, Grandpa.
Wow, what a monster.
No, it's you.
Thank you, VSP.
Lost your vision coverage? Enroll today in an affordable individual vision plan direct from VSP.
This is all of us.
Not again. I'm always in the bunker. Oh, thank you, VSP.
Lost your vision coverage? Enroll today in an affordable individual vision plan direct from VSP.
Grandma, look.
Wow.
Grandma, there's another one.
Thank you, VSP. Lost your vision coverage? Enroll today in an affordable individual vision plan. That's a beautiful direct one. from VSP.
With our laser-measured floor liners and cargo liners, all new Bump Step XL, side window deflectors, and no-drill mud flaps, WeatherTech provides the ultimate protection for your vehicle. Go to WeatherTech.com to order yours today and see our full line of automotive accessories. Nothing protects like WeatherTech.
welcome back to Fox and Friends First. Birth control is now just as easy to get as a candy bar. Stanford University is selling some emergency contraceptives in vending machines on campus right outside an all-gender restroom. Now, according to the Stanford Daily, the university even offers students a discount by subsidizing the cost. Students complaining that they couldn't get the morning after pills since the health center is closed. What do you think about that? Aerosmith canceling the rest of its South American tour after their frontman becomes sick. Well, Steven Tyler is blaming unexpected, that's a quote, medical issues, forcing him to call off at least 4 shows. The 69-year-old rocker tweeting, quote, "Please not to worry. I'm not in a life-threatening condition, but I need to deal with this right away. We hope he'll be okay."
Yeah, we certainly do with that voice. All right, thanks, Heather. President Trump heading to Indiana later today, where he's expected to pitch his tax reform plan and give us some more details. So what will it mean for your wallet, and what obstacles does it face from the left? Professor Brian Brenberg serves as chair, teaches courses in business and economics at the King's College in New York City. You're well versed in all of this stuff like that, and you're the person to talk to. I know, well, it's a lot, and we're going to learn a lot more today.
That's right.
But let's first of all bring up just some of the things that we do know about this plan. Let's pull up that full screen. Cutting corporate tax rate, that's the big one. Cutting it down to 20% from 35%. And the president says that's how you're really going to grow the economy and pay for all this. Also, cutting the tax rate on pass-through businesses at 25%. That's from 39.6, which is also the top for individuals. Collapsing individual tax rates down to 3 brackets, simplifying it, likely to be 35, 25, and 12 for the lowest earners, and cutting the top rates on the wealthiest Americans from 39.6 down to 35, and doubling the standard deduction. So that's just some of the basis of this. And I think the idea is, you know, we're going to cut taxes on everybody, and people say, how are you going to pay for all this? Yeah. We're in so much debt. He wants to grow that economy, get that GDP way up.
Yeah. So the idea here is we want to grow the economy for 2 reasons. One is simply just to put people back to work, increase their wages, but 2, economic growth can help pay for the tax cuts as well. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of people out there challenging that story, whether that's going to work or not. That's going to be the battle in Congress over the next several months. How many people can you get on board with this idea that we're going to get more growth? But the president is focusing on business tax cuts because that's where he sees the real growth potential.
And you're going to have Bernie Sanders out there screaming, oh, these wealthy corporation, private jet guys getting a tax break, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we have not seen growth in this country, not expansive growth. And that is a part of the reason why we're $20 trillion in debt, right?
That has been the big disappointment of the Obama administration. We got 2% growth at best, and that's why people can't get back to work. That's why their wages aren't growing. And the president right now is saying, enough of that. I want to cut taxes. I want to put money back into people's pockets and businesses' pockets so they'll invest it, hire people, and get the economy growing again.
And this is why he was elected. I mean, the healthcare situation has sucked. I mean, the president, I mean, it's a loser for the Republicans right now. Yep. They can't win on it. They needed to move to this months ago, in my personal opinion. Let's look at some more proposals on this and talk about something that I think that they can win on. Eliminating estate tax and alternative minimum tax. I can't talk today. Expanding refundable tax credits for child care or dependent care. That sounds more like an Ivanka idea. Allowing business to accelerate expensing of investments and creating a one-time repatriation of companies' foreign earnings. Talk about that last one, because that's
that'll get done. There are trillions of dollars sitting overseas right now that companies aren't bringing back to the United States because our corporate tax rate is so high. We have a ridiculously high tax rate. The president wants to get that money back here. One-time low tax rate he thinks can help get the money back here. And look, that's good for American workers. We need to fix our corporate tax rate. It's atrocious. It's one of the highest in the world. If we want to grow our economy, give companies a reason to come here, stay here, low corporate tax rate.
So when the far left screams about giving the break to all the corporate guys, say if you want jobs, if you want people to have jobs, you got to lower that tax rate.
Look, when they have money in their pockets, they invest it, they build a new plant. That helps everybody. We can't have this idea that the economy is bifurcated. It's not. It's an organic whole, works together, and this is part of that plan.
We got to compete with the rest of the world. Brian, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll be right back.
BP developed new industry-leading software to monitor drilling operations in real time, so our engineers can solve problems with the most precise data at their fingertips. Because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Breathe freely fast with Vicks Sinex.
My congestion's gone.
I can breathe again! I can breathe again! Oh.
Vicks Sinex. Breathe on.
Guys, ask yourself this. What if you could go harder? Take charge.
and feel more alive again. The power to having a more youthful, stronger, and active body could already be inside you. It's called HGH, a powerful youth hormone that your body naturally produces. But after the age of 25, your natural HGH production slows dramatically. But now you can rev up your natural HGH production with Growth Factor 9, the first and only non-prescription, non-injection dietary supplement, clinically shown to naturally increase your own HGH levels up to 682%. HGH has been associated with increasing lean muscle mass, strengthening bones and joints, reducing body fat, recovering quicker, sleeping better, and improving your energy, mood, and performance. Growth Factor 9 has been featured in top fitness publications and is getting 5-star reviews by men everywhere. It's already changing thousands of lives, and it can change yours. And today, you can try Growth Factor 9 risk-free for 30 days. We'll even include free shipping. Plus, be one of the first 300 to order, and we'll send you Testrovax, our #1 testosterone-boosting compound that naturally helps increase your testosterone levels up to 42% in just 12 days. Sold in retail for over $60, it's your free gift when you order today. So don't run with the pack. Break away from it. Get focused. Take action. Feel alive with Growth Factor 9. So call or go online now to get your ultimate super stack. A 30-day risk-free trial of Growth Factor 9. Our powerful Testrovax, valued at over $60, is your free gift, plus free shipping. We can't possibly make this any easier for you to get started right now. Call 1-800-308-8475 or go to trygf9.com now.
Real people, steel people. Professionals demand dependability on the job. Homeowners expect long-lasting value. And servicing steel dealers provide friendly, knowledgeable support. Right now, steel blowers start at just $139.95 and get the powerful MS-250 chainsaw for just $299.95. Get yours now, only at your local steel dealer. Visit steeldealers.com or search STIHL.
Making an entrance is a tradition that never goes out of style. Get up to 60% off most everything at Joseph A. Bank. Find executive suits for just $199 and all traveler dress shirts $39. The 60% off sale, only at Joseph A. Bank.
Brash, unapologetic, eclectic. Simon Cowell wasn't always all ego.
I was laughed at, I was humiliated.
Go inside the life of an entertainment icon.
I have a lot to be thankful for, Harvey.
Objectified Simon Cowell, Sunday on the Fox News Channel.
T-shirt and off the shoulder, dress up, hair down in a ball cap, yeah, as long as I get that sweet.
Time now for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Up first, the good, very good. Fox News Channel, #1 in cable news across the board yet again. Thanks to your support, we've held the top spot now for 63 quarters straight.
And that's almost 16 years. Amazing. Next, the bad. Democrats coming to the defense of a former IT aide who's already been charged with fraud. Democratic Party leaders telling the Washington Post Imran Awan illegally took massive amounts of data off a congressional server, but they say it was all just his kids' homework, including assignments and pictures.
Yeah,
okay.
Tough homework.
Yeah.
Well, finally, the ugly. An inmate enjoys a sandwich while his mugshot is being taken. Justin Richardson asking officers for food after being arrested for violating his probation in North Carolina.
And enjoy that sandwich because the food in jail sucks.
You've heard. And thanks to all our fans for making us #1 across the board.
Thank you very much. Have a great morning. Fox and Friends starts right now.
Bye.
Roy Moore has won the Alabama GOP primary runoff.
Together we can make America great.
This is really a repudiation of Mitch McConnell's lack of leadership in the U.S. Senate.
Everybody knows how much I love the NFL and how bigger than life it's always seemed to me. It's become a tool by the political forces of the left to advance their agenda.
So I joined so many now in the NFL and elsewhere in taking a knee.
And I kneel in honor of them.
The Taliban claiming responsibility for a rocket attack targeting Defense Secretary James Mattis while on a trip to Afghanistan.
President Trump is promising to make America competitive again. That is the opening pitch in his latest tax reform push.
We will cut taxes tremendously
for the middle class. Not just a little bit, but tremendously.
Nike released a statement yesterday in support of athletes. Then they introduced a new line of $400 kneeling shoes.
It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever.
This song is on my iPod. I listen to it when I'm at the gym.
I was going to say, you run to this.
It makes you go faster.
Right. You know, I was a little stunned that the Apple's tired of making iPods. I guess it's too easy.
Well, because
they're
going
to get rid of them, right? What I have is the iPod holder in my wristband. I will stick it in as a wristband. I put it in there.
Yeah.
And even the guy that I bought it from in Apple says, "You don't want this, do you?" And it's really been revolutionary. However, I went into Apple the other day and they go, "We're not making them anymore." Why would you phase out the iPod?
That's an Apple Watch, though, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. It was just I was just using my wrist as a prop.
I'm just trying to help you be hip.
That's right.
Use the right terms.
The way it works is if Brian can mention Apple one more time in the 3-hour telecast, you're going to wind up with what? Free iTunes for a year?
At least a gift certificate somewhere. We'll see.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us on this very busy Wednesday. Abby is in
Good
and
to be with
Ainsley
you.
is off. Good to have you.
A busy Wednesday.
Indeed. In fact, right now we're going to start with a Fox News alert. The Taliban claiming responsibility for a rocket attack targeting Defense Secretary James Mattis shortly after landing in Afghanistan overnight.
30 rockets. Pentagon producer Lucas Tomlinson live at the Pentagon. He's been working this story and has brand new details. Lucas, this is a defense secretary that recognizes that sound.
Well, that's correct, Brian. If you remember, Defense Secretary Mattis was led the first Marines on the ground shortly after 9/11. But let's get with the breaking news. Moments ago, Fox News has learned the Taliban claimed responsibility for a massive rocket attack at Kabul's international airport. 40 to 45 rockets and rocket-propelled grenades landed near the passenger terminal just less than 2 hours after Defense Secretary Jim Mattis arrived with his entourage, which included the press. Now, I'm told that Mattis was in no danger. He'd already left the area aboard a helicopter, and the rocket attack was not near the location where he landed. But still, Brian, it's the same airport and certainly raises a lot of questions about security in Afghanistan 16 years after the 9/11 attacks. Now, Mattis a day ago was traveling in India, which might have put the Taliban on some kind of alert. It was not public that Defense Secretary Mattis would be arriving in Kabul today. He arrived aboard an Air Force C-17 cargo plane along with the NATO Secretary General for a press conference and meetings with Afghanistan's President Ghani. During a press conference a short time ago, Mattis spoke about the attack.
An attack on an international airport anywhere in the world is a criminal act by terrorists. It's designed to go after generally innocent people to make some sort of statement, and this is a classic definition of what the Taliban are up to right now. We will suffocate any hope that Al-Qaeda or ISIS, Daesh, Haqqani or the Taliban have of winning by killing. I want to reinforce to the Taliban that the only path to peace and political legitimacy for them is through a negotiated settlement.
Now, Secretary Mattis arrived in Kabul just after 11 p.m. Eastern Time, about 7:30 a.m. local. Now, this is the first trip by Defense Secretary Mattis after President Trump announced a new plan for South Asia, for Afghanistan and Pakistan, where 3,000 additional troops would be arriving shortly in Afghanistan to join the more than 11,000 U.S. troops currently there. Now, already, the U.S. Air Force has been stepping up airstrikes in Afghanistan. There were more airstrikes in August than any month since 2012. Back to you guys.
All right. Lucas Tomlinson live at the Pentagon with the breaking news. Lucas, thank you very much.
16 years later. Can you believe that we've been in Afghanistan for 16 years? And it's still this dangerous?
Right. It's a good point, Abby. I would say this. They say the rules of engagements have changed, and I saw the Abadi make that statement over the weekend, last week at the UN, saying that it's night and day, the different philosophies under this Secretary of Defense and this administration, and they are putting more men, but not to do the surge, but to change who we're hunting for and how to protect.
Meanwhile, we're going to get more developments on that, but let's take you down to Alabama. And that man on the horse is the big winner. There he is, Judge Roy Moore. He was riding up on Tuesday to vote. That horse by the name is Sundance. And as you know, this was a classic case where the anti-establishment took on the establishment. And in this case, even though Roy Moore did not have the endorsement of the President of the United States, he won by 9 points. Interestingly enough, when apparently Donald Trump's endorsement really didn't help, because Roy Moore beat Luther Strange in the primary by 6, and with the president's endorsement, he actually beat him by 9.
But it's interesting, though, because a lot of people say Roy Moore's brand and what he stood for was far more in line with President Trump than Luther Strange. So here he is last night before giving his victory speech, where he took some time to defend the Second Amendment. Let's play some of that.
Nearly 3 months of negative ads that we couldn't answer with money because we didn't have it. Ads that were completely false. That I don't believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in the Second Amendment. Guns don't kill, people kill. Cars kill. Are we going to get rid of our cars? Are we going to get rid of our knives? No, we've got to bring morality back to our country.
Well, a lot of people said, hey, if Roy Moore wins, Democrats are going to pour money in because they think he might be vulnerable. It reminds me of when Governor Christie became a sports talk show host for a few days. He knows sports, but when they started asking him specific questions, he was kind of at a loss. Roy Moore knows his issues. Obviously, he's a legend in the area, and the poll show is extremely knowledgeable. But he's got to start blitzing the books and the issues that maybe Senator Luther Strange had down pat, as in Mo Brooks, because the Democrats are saying that they're running Doug Jones. And although it's a long shot to take that seat, they perhaps are going to give it a real shot if they can find some vulnerabilities with him.
Well, the President of the United States sent this tweet out. Remember, he had been supporting Luther Strange. He sent out a tweet yesterday supporting Luther Strange. And last night he sent out congratulations to Roy Moore on his Republican primary win in Alabama. Luther Strange started way back and ran a good race. Roy win in December. And, of course, that's when he does take on the Democrat. Meanwhile, let's talk about something else. He's
going to join us, by the way. Roy Moore will be on the show a little bit later on.
Yeah, his first interview in the morning.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. All right.
You think he'll be up for us?
I think he will be. And in December, he'll have his runoff, and many people assume we'll get that.
Can I just say quickly, though, the brand that he was running on, sort of this outside Washington, away from the swamp. It's so interesting that the election happened the day that health care went down yet again. The frustration that so many of the American people feel about the lack of work that's being done in Washington. And once again, I think this is more about a movement than it is about any particular individual or any candidate or even about President Trump.
And do you think this is banned against Trump? You can write us. I will bring this up, too. Is that yesterday it goes down and the sort of health care go down, and Roy Moore made it clear he wouldn't have voted for it. And many people speculate he'll be a Rand Paul type senator, kind of sticking to his principle rather than at times compromising.
I was reading in one of the Alabama newspapers this morning that said if Donald Trump was the middle finger to the Republican establishment last year, Roy Moore is the middle finger on the other hand. Meanwhile, let's talk about how the #1 topic in the country has been whether or not the NFL players should stand during the national anthem. Now, good news for the President of the United States. A majority of Americans, according to a couple of polls, say they're with the president on that. But a number of Democrats actually, and there you see some of the players who took the knee on Sunday, a number of Democrats actually took a knee in the U.S. Congress, two by name, Sheila Jackson Lee and Mark Pocan. Listen to this.
You tell me which of those children's mothers or a son of a bee. That is racism. You cannot deny it. You cannot run for it. And I kneel in honor of them.
I join so many now in the NFL and elsewhere in taking a knee for the America that we all aspire it to be.
We should also point out a Republican by the name of Alex Mooney from West Virginia defended President Trump for saying the NFL's players should stand after those two took a knee.
Nielsen gave them some bad news. The games are down slightly, about 3% year to year. However, Monday Night Football this Monday night was up 3%. Maybe it's because a lot has to do perhaps with the Cowboys. I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen this week, because I was watching Benjamin Watson last night for the Ravens, and he said, we all want to stand. We kind of, I'm getting the sense they want this to end. They just don't know how. That's why I want the commissioner and the union president to get together and give everyone a face-saving way out. There's no winners here.
Yeah, they want to get back to what this is all about to begin with, is football. Right? Get the politics out of it. I think maybe some of the viewership, maybe because it was up 3%, people want to know what's going to go on. Well, are people going to kneel? Are people going to stand? People are fascinated by it. But Rush Limbaugh talked about this, and he said that the NFL has become now propaganda for the left. Here's what he said.
We're dealing with liberalism here, and we're dealing with the left, and that's just not how they operate. Everybody knows how much I love the NFL and how bigger than life it's always seemed to me, but it doesn't seem bigger than life. It just seems... It seems like a tool now. It has become something being used by the political forces of the left to advance their agenda, which is an anti-American agenda.
And we mentioned the polls. The Reuters poll that we put up a moment ago shows that a majority of Americans stand with the president on this.
Look at that, 85% strongly or somewhat agree.
Right. There's a new Remington Research Group poll out. They say that 51% of Americans are watching less television football. Why? Because 70% of the players, 70% of the respondents say because they don't like the fact that players are using the NFL as a stage for their political views. And 80% of Americans want to see less politics in sports.
Right.
Politics are okay on a news show, not so good in sports.
Rush Limbaugh is going to be on with Sean on Thursday night. Tonight he's going to have Paul Ryan. Last night, Bill O'Reilly was great. And Jillian, you know all about the NFL locker room. Some of the best guys you'll ever meet in sports play football.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so I know they want out of this political mess.
You wonder how you get out, though. That's the big question right now. And we'll certainly keep you posted. For now, let's get you caught up on the headlines of the morning. Starting right here, a convicted killer scheduled to die is spared by the Supreme Court for now. Overnight, justice is granting a stay of execution for 59-year-old Keith Leroy Tharp. The decision coming hours after Tharp was supposed to be put to death. But attorneys appealed, claiming the Georgia man is intellectually disabled and that one of his jurors was racist. Tharp is guilty of murdering his sister-in-law nearly 3 decades ago. A week after Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, President Trump is planning a visit to the U.S. island.
It's the earliest I can go because of the first responders, and we don't want to disrupt the relief efforts.
The White House also amending a disaster declaration promising more federal funding as power, clean water, and gas remain in short supply. The Navy is now preparing to send its hospital ship to Puerto Rico to help with relief efforts. The U.S. Navy also on the ground of the island of Dominica, demolished by the Category 5 storm. New video showing American service members loading families on board a helicopter, many of them young children. One of the kids giving a sailor a high five after getting strapped in before heading to a shelter. Maria killing at least 27 people on that island. Guys.
All right. Thank you, Jillian.
All right. President Trump set to unveil a big tax reform plan today. What is it? We'll give you a hint, but not yet.
It's me and my best friend.
Only new Tena Intimates has pro skin technology designed to quickly wick away moisture to help maintain your skin's natural balance. For a free sample, call 1-877-GET-TENA.
Life happens everywhere, like it never even happened. Only happens here. The cleanup and restoration specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com.
Continuously evolving with the needs of the user. Accessible through the cloud.
To new markets all over the world.
The business model is completely different.
Yes, it is.
This totally changes the way we recognize revenue.
And where? Think about all those tax jurisdictions.
How are we going to handle all this?
We aren't.
People who know BDO.
If you're 50 or over, what comes to mind when you think about healthcare? Understanding your options? Or if you're getting the care you need? At AARPadvantages.com, you can find helpful information about healthcare options, leaving you more time to think about more important things, like not having to think about healthcare at all. Surround yourself with healthy advantages at aarpadvantages.com/health.
May I help you?
We just noticed your lawn here needed a little,
What my lawn needs is for you nitwits to get off of it, okay?
Introducing Floodlight Cam by Ring. Learn more at ring.com.
I used to handwrite lists to find out which website had my ideal hotel for the cheapest. Just scribbling all my options underneath each other. Well, Trivago does exactly that for me, saving me lots of time and money. Hotel? Trivago.
If you have moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's, and your symptoms have left you with the same view, it may be time for a different perspective. If other treatments haven't worked well enough, ask your doctor about Entyvio, the only biologic developed and approved just for UC and Crohn's. Entyvio works by focusing right in the GI tract to help control damaging inflammation and is clinically proven to begin helping many patients achieve both symptom relief as well as remission. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. While not reported with Entyvio, PML, a rare serious brain infection caused by a virus, may be possible. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, experience frequent infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Liver problems can occur with Entyvio. If your UC or Crohn's medication isn't working for you, ask your gastroenterologist about Entyvio. Entyvio, relief and remission within reach.
Making an entrance is a tradition that never goes out of style. Get up to 60% off most everything at Joseph A. Bank. Find executive suits for just $199 and all traveler dress shirts $39. The 60% off sale, only at Joseph A. Bank.
It's Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale, meaning your favorite mattresses are on sale. On top of that, get an additional 10% off, like a Beauty Rest Firm Queen mattress for $454.99. Plus, get an additional 10% off, only at Mattress Firm.
Together we can make America great. We can support the president. Don't let anybody in the press think that because he supported my opponent that I do not support him and support his agenda.
And then he got a call from the president, did Roy Moore, who won last night. Conservative outsider Judge Moore declaring victory yesterday in a heated Senate primary race, but he won easily. Well, we saw the president go with the Washington establishment candidate, Luther Strange, and they seem to have a personal relationship. Here to react now is Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. And Ronna, did the wrong person win in the RNC's perspective last night?
No, the voters chose, and that's always the right way. The voters chose their nominee. We're going to get in and make sure that Roy Moore is the next senator from Alabama, and the voters did the right thing.
Democrats are seeing vulnerability there because he's someone new to the national stage.
No, we're gonna be in place. There's more Republicans than Democrats in Alabama. Let's do the math. So the RNC will go in, we'll put our ground game in place, we'll turn out our voters, and Roy Moore is going to be the next senator.
President tweeted last night, congratulations to Roy Moore on his Republican, as we go ahead, I didn't memorize it, Republican win in Alabama. Luther Strange started way back and ran a good race. Roy won in December, and he was very classy in defeat last night, which is, it's a great quality to have that Hillary Clinton has not displayed. But in having said that, he quickly went to, the president reached back, and Roy Moore reached over. How important is that?
It's critical, and we knew that was going to happen. You have these primaries, you put your best foot forward, and then you come together because our purpose unites us, and as Republicans, we know what we need to get done for this country, and we need to support the president's agenda.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell wanted Luther Strange. And a lot of people say this was Mitch McConnell against Steve Bannon. And Mitch McConnell's candidate, he shepherded in $30 million from you guys, and he still lost. What does that say about the leader? What should he take from this?
Well, just coming from Michigan, voters want to choose their own candidate. They don't like Washington coming in and saying this is going to be your next senator. And so let the process play out. Let the primaries play out. Let the voters choose who the nominee is going to be. And then bring the establishment in, the party structure in to help get that candidate across the finish line.
Do you, when you go talk to the people, you're getting frustration back when you talk to Republican donors as well as voters. What are they saying to you?
Yeah, I was in Pennsylvania this week, and they're frustrated. They're saying, we sent you there. We gave you the White House, the Senate, and the House. We want the repeal and replace of Obamacare because it's hurting us. Our lives are hurting. So I hear that. The president hears it. He's never giving up on this. We need to expand our margins in 2018. I say, hold on. We need to give you a better Senate. We have an opportunity to expand our Senate majority.
For different reasons, Collins, Murkowski, McCain, and Rand Paul are just holding their ground and not playing ball with the rest. Who's right? Them to holding their principles or the others?
Well, there's two things at stake. One, the fact that we made this promise for 7 years and we're not delivering. And two, can we govern when we have the majority? We need to show people that we deserve the majority.
All right, Ronna McDaniel, thanks so much. Crazy time, but intense time. Coming up straight ahead, birth control. In fact, we'll do this NFL story. The Buffalo Bills, just one of the teams taking a knee, but one Bills stadium worker just quit. We'll talk to him.
Kevin, meet your father.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin. Kevin. Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Trusted advice for life.
Kevin, how's your mom?
Thank you. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James financial advisor can do for you.
Dry mouth? Use Smart Mouth with Moisture Lock technology. It's the only dry mouth rinse that relieves bad breath for 12 hours with only one use.
Available at drugstores, supermarkets, and elsewhere.
So I think I got to get my roof repaired. You know anybody?
Yeah, actually I might.
Yeah, great. Can you do a free background check on them, get me some additional quotes, and book it for 2 weeks from now?
You can't expect your neighbors to do everything HomeAdvisor can. So to find and book a top-rated home pro for free, just ask HomeAdvisor.
I didn't know where I was from ethnically, so we sent that sample off to Ancestry. My Ancestry DNA results are that I'm 26% Nigerian. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can about my culture. I put the gele on my head and I looked into the mirror and I was trying not to cry because it's a hat, but it's like the most important hat I've ever owned.
Discover the story only your DNA can tell. Order your kit now at AncestryDNA.com.
Trump talks taxes. After the president makes his case in Indiana, what can America expect? All the live fallout and reaction is on The Story tonight.
Ready, Daddy?
Thank you, VSP.
Lost your vision coverage? Enroll today in an affordable individual vision plan direct from VSP.
Look, Grandpa.
Wow, what a monster.
No, it's you.
Thank you, VSP.
Lost your vision coverage? Enroll today in an affordable individual vision plan direct from VSP.
This is all of us.
Not again. I'm always in the bunker. Oh, thank you, VSP.
Lost your vision coverage? Enroll today in an affordable individual vision plan direct from VSP.
Wow, thank you, VSP.
Lost your vision coverage? Enroll today in an affordable individual vision plan direct from VSP.
Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
Some quick headlines for you now. A major milestone for one of President Trump's biggest campaign promises, crews breaking ground on prototypes for the Mexican border wall. Over the next month, 6 companies will build a total of 8 models. President Trump says he will pick that design. Also, this immigrants will soon have their social media monitored by the feds. The Department of Homeland Security adding a new rule that allows the government to collect information from immigrants' Facebook, Twitter, and Instagrams. That includes permanent residents and naturalized citizens. It goes into effect on October 18th after a comment period. Steve, over to you.
Thanks, Abby.
The Buffalo Bills were just one of the many NFL teams who knelt during the national anthem on Sunday. That angered one. Kasher joins us live right now from Buffalo. Eric, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Let's take you back to Sunday. I know it was an awful day for you personally. You were working security. You do work in law enforcement. You saw the protest, and then after the anthem, what did you do?
After the anthem ended, I took off my Buffalo Bills hat, threw it on the ground, took off my security shirt, and walked out of the tunnel. I went and quit my job.
Why did this protest affect you so deeply?
Because it was during the national anthem, and that's something I hold dear to my heart. A lot of people have fought and died for this country, and that's the song and the flag signify that to me. And I have a lot of friends that are veterans. I have family members that are disabled veterans. And my father was a Korea War vet, or is a Korea War vet. And the national anthem and the flag mean a lot to me. So in my heart, I had to take my stand. And it was a personal stand, and I had to quit.
You just mentioned your father. After you took this stand and you quit because you were so infuriated by this NFL protest, and there's a picture of you with your dad at a birthday. Yeah. What did your dad do?
His birthday.
What did your dad do?
He called me that night, and he was broken up. He was proud of me, but he was in tears with pride.
Why?
And because I stood up for veterans, and you know, I did the right thing in my heart and his heart. I took a stand, and even though I stood alone, I still took the stand.
Eric, how long have you worked for the Bills as a security guy? And what are the people saying? What are the fans saying in Buffalo?
I started the Bills the first year they went to the Super Bowl, and I've worked most of the years in between. And I haven't talked to any of the fans. I've talked to some coworkers who give me a lot of support. And, you know, I've, of course, gotten a lot of support on Facebook from veterans, other law enforcement officers, Gold Star mothers. And, of course, I've gotten some hate mail on Facebook, but I take that for what it's worth.
Eric, what should the players be doing instead of kneeling?
I believe kneeling is, to me, is the players saying there's a problem, someone else fix it. I believe if they went out into the community, took some time, and did something where a solution, as opposed to just kneeling and saying someone else fix this, be a solution. Do something about it.
Well, you've got your Sunday afternoons available now. What are you going to do?
Yes, sir. Spend a lot of time with my wife, my children, my grandson, my parents.
Well, good for you. Thank you very much for coming in today, Eric, and telling us your side of the story.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Eric Nikisher, former security guard for the Bills, who quit Sunday because he didn't like the protest. Thank you, sir. What do you think about that? Email us, friends@foxnews.com. You can tweet us or Facebook as well. Meanwhile, President Trump set to unveil his big tax reform plan today. So what's in it? We can't tell you until later this morning, but here's a hint. There's a good bit of news for the middle class. We are live in Washington with details coming up. Plus, this ain't the little red wagon you had as a kid. This one, that one right there, is big, and it goes 0 to 90 in 7 seconds. And happy birthday to our friend Meatloaf. Meatloaf is 70 years old today. That's a lot of candles on that loaf.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. No, I won't do that.
Liberty Mutual saved us almost $800 when we switched our auto and home insurance.
With Liberty, we could afford a real babysitter instead of your brother. Oh, that's my robe.
Is it?
You could save $782 when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Making an entrance is a tradition that never goes out of style. Get up to 60% off most everything at Joseph A. Bank. Find executive suits for just $199 and all traveler dress shirts $39. The 60% off sale. only at Joseph A. Bank.
Have you ever seen something so beautiful that all you could say was, wow? Or walked on the world's best beach? At a place that made you feel like you were in a dream, where family comes first and fun is measured one ride at a time.
You're all about a good life.
Where you're served like royalty, but treated like family. Beaches, Turks, and Caicos, where anything is possible because everything is included. Wow! Get up to 65% off. Call 1-800-BEACHES.
To most people, I look like most people. But on the inside, I feel chronic, widespread pain. Fibromyalgia may be invisible to others, but my pain is real.
Fibromyalgia is thought to be caused by overactive nerves. Lyrica is believed to calm these nerves.
I'm glad my doctor prescribed Lyrica.
For some, Lyrica delivers effective relief for moderate to even severe fibromyalgia pain and improves function. Lyrica may cause serious allergic reactions, suicidal thoughts or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these, new or worse depression, unusual changes in mood or behavior, swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, muscle pain with fever, tired feeling, or blurry vision. Common side effects: dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, swelling of hands, legs, and feet. Don't drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. Don't drive or use machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Those who've had a drug or alcohol problem may be more likely to misuse Lyrica.
With less pain, I can do more with my family.
Talk to your doctor today. See if Lyrica can help.
Real people, steel people. Professionals demand dependability on the job. Homeowners expect long-lasting value. And servicing steel dealers provide friendly, knowledgeable support. Right now, steel blowers start at just $139.95. And steel chainsaws start at just $179.95. Get yours now, only at your local steel dealer. Visit steeldealers.com or search STIHL.
There's a new place for senior care, a place with 24-hour valet service and a boutique salon, a place with all-day arts and crafts. It even has a day spa, a place that's so much like home because, well, it is home. Home Instead Senior Care, when you need personalized care in the comfort of home.
This business update is brought to you by Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
After President Trump called for pro athletes to be fired if they didn't stand for the national anthem, Nike released a statement yesterday in support of athletes and their right to freedom of expression. Then they introduced a new line of $400 kneeling shoes.
That's really good.
That is fantastic. 27 minutes out before the top of the hour. I want to go over some of these polls again because they're just coming in about where the public stands when it comes to standing and sitting for the national anthem.
Yeah.
And let's take a look at this.
First of all, Reuters asked this. You almost always stand in silence when the national anthem is played in person. 85% strongly or somewhat agree. And then when it comes to professional athletes, the question goes like this.
If it should be a rule or not. Professional athletes should be required to stand during the national anthem. That number is still above majority, 58%, but obviously lower than 85%. So we were talking about this in the commercial break, Steve, and we actually are different on this because, look, I think it's about as disrespectful as it can get when you decide to kneel during the national anthem. Whenever you decide to disrespect the flag, our national anthem, what this country stands for, you don't want to be in that place. But to put a rule in to say that players are forced to stand, that's just not what this country was founded on. I mean, I've spent time living in China.
Sure.
I've seen how the people live over there. And so when you start putting rules in place, where does that end?
But here's the thing, Abby. If I have my private business, and let's say, for this sake, I'll say, let's say I own the NFL. You know, I am the commissioner of the NFL, hired by the owners of the teams in the league. I have a bunch of rules. Okay, they're going to wear white shoes. They're going to wear socks so high. They're going to appear on time. When they come for example, the NBA says, when you're hurt, I want you on the sidelines with a suit and tie. Just my rule, okay? And then I would say one other thing when it comes to the national anthem. As a private company, you should say, if that's what you believe, stand with your hand over your heart, or at least at attention on the sideline. If not, you're going to be fine. Right. Now, if Abby Huntsman says that's not what I think America's about, then I would say, Abby, you can go to the CFL, or you could go to the union and with the players and say, I want that changed.
It's one of the rules
because it's private
regarding the place of employment, which is privately held. There are also all these stories floating around that apparently I read in a Mark Thiessen op-ed in the Washington Post yesterday that it is a requirement. It's part of the contract, the NFL contract, that during the national anthem, players have got to stand and have to be facing the Old Glory.
Here's how you parse it. It's not a rule. It's one of these regulations that people put into place. But the NFL a year ago didn't enforce it when Colin Kaepernick. They let it go, so it's gone wild.
This is completely on the NFL because they didn't enforce it.
I just worry about what that would do to this country, because that is what we were founded on. The ability to protest, the ability to stand up for something that you believe in. When you feel like change needs to be made, this is not the right way to do it. I think we all agree with that on this couch. There are a million ways you can protest and not kneel during the national anthem. But that is what this country was. When I look at that flag, I think of freedom. When I think about what my brothers are fighting for in the Navy, I'm thinking about that.
Abby, there's nothing you said that's inaccurate. However, if there was a rule, you're founded on freedom, but we only get an hour for lunch, and you want to be free to take 2 hours, that job has every reason to say, Abby, I'm going to have to make a change, because you're taking this 2-hour lunch and we can only allow 1 hour. And the NFL is going to say, okay, you're the best player in the league. I'm going to have to suck it up at some point. But when you become a liability more than an asset, I'm going to make a choice. That's what Kaepernick did. If he was the best quarterback in the league, he'd have 20 offers.
Yeah, well, he's not, and he's not even playing anymore.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And so the free market would respond to your 2-hour lunch request.
What do you guys think? Because we've been debating this morning. Email us at friends@foxnews.com. Do you think it should be a rule for the players to not sit during the national anthem? Send us your thoughts. We want to know. I have a feeling more people are going to be on Brian's side.
Right.
But, you know, when you look at the polls, I'm actually with the majority, 85%, who think that they should stand always during the national anthem. But when you talk about rules, that opens up a different conversation.
Unfortunately, we sometimes have to have rules.
Yeah.
So anyway, let us know. Friends@foxnews.com, Facebook, and Twitter us as well.
All right. Well, today President Trump is heading to Indiana to pitch the Republicans' new tax plan to the American people.
The plan, in the works for months, is expected to slash rates for businesses and individuals, particularly the middle class.
Here to reveal his taxes for the first time on live television, Griff Jenkins. Griff, show me your taxes.
Good morning. Well, it's not me, but the House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Kevin Brady will unveil those details later today to House members as President Trump heads to Indiana to start selling it.
We will cut taxes tremendously for the middle class, not just a little bit, but tremendously.
And cut it at will. Brian, here's some of what we expect. It will cut the corporate tax rate to 20% from 35%. It will cut the tax rate on pass-through businesses to 25%. It'll collapse individual tax rate brackets down to 3, 35, 25, 12, we expect, dropping from that top rate of 39.6 that everyone fears who makes any money, doubling the standard deduction, which is a set amount, of course, of income that anyone is exempt from. And then we also expect some other proposals which eliminate the estate tax and the alternative minimum tax. They expect to expand child care tax credits. They expect to allow businesses to accelerate the expensing of investments and possibly creating a one-time repatriation of a company's foreign earnings. Now, this plan was conceived with what is being called the Big Six. That includes the White House, the Treasury Secretaries, of course, Chairman Brady, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Orrin Hatch, and Speaker Paul Ryan. But the first challenge comes in the House, and whether or not that House Freedom Caucus, as conservatives like it, they're meeting after the plan is unveiled and possibly voting to see whether or not they support it, guys. Big day on taxes.
Hey, Griff, and there's a report in Politico that the president, I'm going to ask Kellyanne Conway shortly, wasn't entirely thrilled with the product that he got put in front of him. So I don't know if it's the lower tax rate that's slightly jacked up or the upper rate that's slightly jacked down that Steve Bannon came out of.
You can't give her hints of what we're going to ask her.
Right.
Now she's going to be all prepared.
I don't think she listens.
Well, pay attention. What matters most is whether the House Freedom Caucus likes it, because they're a big block, and they're going to vote whether they like it.
That's a great point.
Pay attention to that.
All right. Thank you so much, Griff.
He always has to have the last word.
Well, he does because we asked him. All right. Meanwhile, 20 minutes before the top of the hour, and Jillian has the headline word right now.
Hey, that's right. Good Wednesday morning to you guys, to you at home as well. The teen accused of shooting a police officer in the face stood in front of a judge just last week. 18-year-old Frank Valencia given probation after being caught with a stash of guns and 300 rounds of ammunition. Days after that ruling, police say he pulled the trigger on Officer Kayla Mayer outside New York City. Officer Mayer was released from the hospital yesterday.
You don't have to pay private mortgage insurance. And so putting that 20% down will avoid PMI. And then I want you to only get a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. You can put that money sitting aside in a money market account, your down payment, let it sit there because it's going to be easily accessible when you get ready to make that purchase.
Chris Hogan, some great advice this morning. I see why you get paid to do this. You are excellent. We love having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thanks to all of you for sending in your questions. Still ahead, Counselor to the President Kellyanne Conway, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and the big winner in the state of Alabama last night, Roy Moore, all here live. Plus, he is the man behind box office hits like Miracles from Heaven. And Devin Franklin says you don't have to lose your faith in Hollywood. Well, not just yet. He joins us live next.
Think you know New York State? Think again. This is the new New York. We are building new airports all across the state, new roads and bridges, new mass transit, new business-friendly environment, new lower taxes, and new university partnerships to grow the businesses of tomorrow today. Learn more at esd.ny.gov.
I used to love going out early in the morning with my watering can and clippers to enjoy my garden. Now things have changed. My angel helps me stay active and continue to do the things I enjoy at home.
I love to bring a smile to her face and know that I'm making a difference when she needs it most.
Visiting Angels, America's choice in home care.
2 Hannity exclusives. Tonight, Paul Ryan talks tax reform in a powerful sit-down. Thursday, a can't-miss interview with Rush Limbaugh, only on Hannity.
When we love someone, we want to do right by them.
What is this?
But habits are hard to break.
Honey, where are the habaneros?
And then there are things we can't control, like snoring. Now the answer is right under your nose. Introducing Theravent Anti-Snore Strips. Clinically shown to reduce snoring with the power of your own breathing.
Nice try.
There are always things that are hard to let go of. Now, snoring isn't one of them. Theravent. The answer is right under your nose.
I went through my teen years when my teeth were really spaced. Braces weren't really an option because they were $5,000–6,000 and my parents couldn't afford that.
You'll see as a kid I had this huge smile, and then over time I lost my confidence.
We had just got married here and I'm not showing my teeth whatsoever.
I didn't think my teeth were as bad as they were. When I look at some of the old pictures now, it's like, man, I didn't know my teeth were that messed up.
At Smile Direct Club, we believe everyone deserves a smile they'll love. That's why for 60% less than braces, we send invisible aligners directly to you. We straighten most smiles in an average of 6 months.
So convenient. You don't have to go to an orthodontist every month.
I never even feel that they're in. They're like, are you wearing them right now? And I'm like, yes, I'm wearing it right now. They're like, no, you're not.
Having straight teeth was an amazing feeling after having a totally jacked up smile for so many years.
I smile and I'm confident with my smile now.
Get your confidence back risk-free. Our smile guarantee ensures that if aligners aren't a good fit for you, you get your money back.
Go for it.
Get started at SmileDirectClub.com for as low as $87 a month.
You won't see these folks at the post office. They have businesses to run.
$87 a month.
You won't see these folks at the post office. They have businesses to run. They have passions to pursue. How do they avoid trips to the post office? Stamps.com. Mail letters. Ship packages. All the services of the post office right on your computer. Get a 4-week trial plus $100 in extras, including postage and a digital scale. Go to stamps.com/try and never go to the post office again.
We are excited to have him here. He's the producer behind box office hits like Miracles from Heaven.
And now producer and spiritual success coach Devon Franklin is sharing what is possible. He's sharing the views that he believes it's possible to have a successful career without losing your faith. And he learned it in the most unlikely place possible. That is Hollywood.
He has written a brand new book. It is called The Hollywood 10 Commandments, a spiritual guide to secular success. Producer, preacher, and author Devon Franklin joins us live right now.
Good morning.
You know, a lot of people, when they think the Hollywood 10 Commandments, it has to do with greed, and it has to do with fame, and it has to do with stuff. Not at all, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in Hollywood for 20 years, and I was raised a Christian. And you'd be shocked at how much I've seen God operate in Hollywood. And I think this is why I wanted to write the book, because too often we don't see the value in secular environments. And I've learned more about faith, I've learned more about success working in a secular environment than I actually learned growing up in the church. And I wanted to put my faith to work. That's why I wrote the book, because too often we leave spiritual teaching to the weekend, and when we come to work, we take it off. But if you pair your spiritual teaching with secular strategy, you will find unprecedented success.
So secular strategy, that's, you mean, looking at people and saying they don't have the same beliefs I do or the passion I do for my faith, and I know how to be successful? Or do you learn from people who don't have your faith?
You learn from people who don't have your faith. And you also learn from the industry in which you're working. There's so much to learn about success, about excellence, about discipline in whatever industry you're working. And sometimes we miss the practical value of absorbing the industry that we're in and realizing that we don't have to compromise what we believe to find success in these industries. Combining what the industry can teach us along with what we believe spiritually, that is the combination that'll make us successful no matter what we
Devon,
do.
I love that. And I think that works for a place like Hollywood, but in any industry that you're in. You think about politics today. How do you open people's minds, though? How do you help people want to hear another perspective and say, look, it's not going to change the way I think, but it can help me better understand the conversation as a whole?
Yeah, one of my favorite commandments is you have to carry a crown before you wear one. That is about the value of service. When I serve with excellence, I create a relationship and a dynamic by which someone would be open to hear who I am and what I'm about. And I think that is what we have missed. Service is the key. You can never get out of style when you meet a need.
One of your other commandments that, and by the book, see all 10 of them.
Thank you.
Explain to me this one. Your gut is hiding God.
Yes, what I mean by that is that we all have an intuition. We all hear God speak to us, but sometimes it defies our logic. So we want to talk ourselves out of it. We want to operate in fear. But I say, when you hear God speak to you, you have to move. And this has worked for me because there was a time when I was, at Sony. I had my company at Sony, Franklin Entertainment, and God told me it was time to move. And I moved, and do you realize where I ended up? Fox. My film deal is on the film side of Fox. But if I had not done it and moved when God told me to move, I would have missed the opportunity to begin a new chapter in my company.
So interesting, because in Hollywood, you got to think about my agent, my audition, my look, my wardrobe. So it's all about me. You're saying one of your successes is get out of your own head, stop focusing on yourself, right?
Yes, because too often we're in the selfie generation. We just want me, me, me. But when we take the camera, and we focus to other people, how can I meet their need? How can I help them do what they do? How can I make my boss excellent today? Because what you realize is that your boss views you as an asset or a liability. And when you make yourself an asset to no matter who you work for, you will never find yourself a day out of work.
Devon, could you stay with us all morning long?
I'm here.
I love your energy, and what a good message we all need to hear.
Thank you so much.
Especially if you're going to go into that industry, too, because you have to understand, you have to have extreme high self-esteem and know why you're in it, right?
You got that right. And that's the same for pretty much anywhere you go.
So there are 8 other commandments that we haven't talked about. Check out the new book. It is called The Hollywood Commandments. Devon Franklin, thank you very much.
Thank you all for having me.
Don't you hate when he outdresses us? I mean, this is unbelievable.
You're
looking good.
Come on, man. Again, I'm focused on me, so I blew the whole segment.
All right. I think Abby and I look great.
You do. Yes, you do.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Meanwhile, straight ahead, the counselor to the President of the United States, Kellyanne Conway, is going to be joining us live from the White House in a couple of minutes.
Plus, Congressman Brian Mast lost both his legs in Afghanistan. He just sent a powerful message to those protesters with this picture. We won't stand for the anthem.
People would stare. Psoriasis does that.
It was tough getting out there on stage.
I wanted to be clear. I wanted it to last.
So I kept on fighting.
I found something that worked and keeps on working.
Now, they see me.
See me.
See if Cosentyx could make a difference for you. Cosentyx is proven to help people with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis find clear skin that can last. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting Cosentyx, you should be checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you've received a vaccine or plan to. If you have inflammatory bowel disease, tell your doctor if symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Never give up.
See me.
See me.
Clear skin can last.
Don't hold back. Ask your dermatologist if Cosentyx can help you find clear skin that lasts.
You can't just inherit 4,000 acres.
We set up a trust, and that's how we transferred the stock.
Let's run this by BDO.
It was their idea.
People who know BDO.
Life happens everywhere, like it never even happened, only happens here. The cleanup and restoration specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com.
Today, we're finally getting our bathtub redone. We weren't happy with it.
Oh, we didn't want the headaches of demolition.
Or the days without our bathroom. Then a friend told us about BathFitter and their unique tub-over-tub process. There's no demolition, and they install in as little as a day. They also have a seamless wall for a watertight fit. And BathFitter has a lifetime guarantee. What a difference. Finally, a bathtub I love.
Call today or learn more at bathfitter.com.
We needed to hire someone, but it was really tough finding people that had the right experience.
I was spending half my day just reading resumes.
To hire great people, go to ZipRecruiter.com and post to over 100 of the web's leading job boards with one click. Then easily select the best candidates from one list.
I'm seeing a lot more candidates with the right experience.
We have gotten consistently better results from ZipRecruiter than anywhere else.
Over 1 million businesses have already used ZipRecruiter. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/Fox.
Your brain changes as you get older, but Prevagen helps your brain with an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
How does Pods help remove the stress from storage? We deliver a container. You fill it up with things you're keeping for later and forever. Whenever you're ready, just call us. We'll drive your locked container to one of our secure storage centers. Pods.
The Taliban claimed responsibility for a massive rocket attack at Kabul's International Airport less than 2 hours after Defense Secretary Jim Mattis arrived.
Well, let's take you down to Alabama, and that man on the horse is the big winner. There he is, Judge Roy Moore.
Voters chose their nominee. We're going to get in and make sure that Roy Moore is the next senator from Alabama.
From the sidelines to the House floor now, the Take a Knee protest continues to intensify.
After the anthem ended, I took off my security shirt and quit my job because I stood up for veterans and, I did the right thing.
If they keep doubling down on stupid, NFL is going to stand for no fans left.
President Trump is promising to make America competitive again. That is the opening pitch in his latest tax reform push.
We will cut taxes tremendously for the middle class. Not just a little bit, but tremendously.
And Tennessee Republican Senator Bob Corker is retiring at the end of his term in 2018. One name already floating around to replace him, NFL legend Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, senator. Sounds pretty good.
We like it and love it that you're joining us today on the Curvy Couch. Ainsley is off today, and Abby is in. And as we learned in the last hour, you just heard it in that cold open, apparently Abby has memorized the Nationwide is on your side ad.
It was the most.
Who has not memorized that by now?
It was one of the most brilliant accepting of a toss as I can remember, because I said Peyton Manning his name is brought up to be the next senator from Tennessee or to run because Corker's retired. Senator Corker's retiring, and you were able to break into that song. Here's the problem: I can't picture him leaving this multi-million-dollar endorsement career. He isn't even going to broadcasting because it would be such a pay cut. How does he go do that and leave everything else?
That's a good question. Some people just want to change.
Right.
You know, they want a change in lifestyle. They want a different challenge.
Right. And he's a born leader. It would be great.
The other person whose name's been brought up is Michelle Bachmann, and she would be fantastic
that's
as a
an interesting
contender
one.
from Tennessee, and she's great.
Anyway, we've got busy 2 hours for you on this Wednesday morning. Right now, though, a Fox News alert.
Yep, the Taliban claiming responsibility for a rocket attack. They're targeting Defense Secretary James Mattis shortly after landing in Afghanistan last night.
Pentagon producer Lucas Tomlinson is live for us at the Pentagon and has brand new breaking details this morning. Lucas, what are you hearing?
Well, good morning, Abby. Less than 2 hours before Defense Secretary Jim Mattis arrived at Kabul's International Airport, U.S. officials tell me 40 to 45 rockets and rocket-propelled grenades slammed into the ground. Now, the fact that rocket-propelled grenades were used indicates some kind of ground assault. The Taliban claimed responsibility for the attack. Now, these same officials tell me Defense Secretary Mattis and his official party had departed the airport aboard helicopters before a press conference with Afghanistan's president. The Taliban are claiming credit for the attack, and this raises serious questions about who tipped them off. The attack happened at 7:30 a.m. local time, 11 p.m. here on the East Coast. Mattis had been in India the day before and spoke at the press conference in Kabul alongside the president of Afghanistan about the attack.
An attack on an international airport anywhere in the world is a criminal act by terrorists. It's designed to go after generally innocent people to make some sort of statement, and this is a classic definition of what the Taliban are up to right now. We will suffocate any hope that Al-Qaeda or ISIS, Daesh, Haqqani, or the Taliban have of winning by killing. I want to reinforce to the Taliban that the only path to peace and political legitimacy for them is through a negotiated settlement.
This is Secretary Mattis's first trip to Afghanistan since President Trump announced a new strategy for the 16-year-old war last month, which includes sending more than 3,000 additional U.S. troops to join nearly 11,000 on the ground. And these new troops will be serving closer to the front lines with the ability to call in airstrikes. Now, already, U.S. jets are increasing the number of bombs they are dropping on the Taliban and an ISIS affiliate. Last month, more bombs were dropped than any time in the last 5 years. And yesterday on Capitol Hill, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dunford, says Pakistan needs to stop harboring the Taliban and Haqqani network and offering them sanctuary in their country. Abby, guys?
And that, Lucas, is probably a warning shot, because we all know that's where they regroup and they come across the border. You served, and that's what's creating chaos in Afghanistan. But we're going to have to make that move, or else it's fruitless to even continue fighting.
Hey, Lucas, a quick question for you. Since it was an unannounced visit with Mattis and the UN Secretary General, are they thinking it might be an insider job?
That's a possibility, Steve. I mean, the Defense Secretary was in India the day before, and many times when senior U.S. officials travel in the region, they do like to pop in, whether it's Iraq or Afghanistan. But certainly it raises questions about who tipped off the Taliban, because the rockets landed less than 2 hours after the Defense Secretary touched down. Steve?
All right, Lucas Tomlinson, our producer at the Pentagon. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you one man you don't want to mess with is Secretary James Mattis.
He's already
you don't
got
want to
the
go near that guy.
He's already got the message that, there's no place secure like it used to be in Afghanistan, so to speak, for a few years after the initial invasion. But I just think that if we decide to go into Pakistan and start making life hell for the Haqqani network and for the Taliban that trains there and that was born there and Al-Qaeda that bleeds through there, that will be beginning to make it a better chance for our guys to be unscathed and come back home.
All right, let's go down to the White House right now. Kellyanne Conway joins us from the North Lawn. Kellyanne, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, it looks like a majority of Americans agree with the President of the United States that people should stand during the national anthem. I saw in the Wall Street Journal yesterday people are canceling their DirecTV Sunday ticket because they're so steamed at the players. We had a security guy on just about a half an hour ago. He worked for years for the Bills, couldn't take it anymore. He threw in the jersey, said, "I quit, I can't take it." What is going on in America right now?
Look, about 12% of the NFL players took a knee and protested the other day, but that means 88% did not. And many Americans support the president's position on this because the president is supporting the flag and everything that it stands for. The men and women who have sacrificed on behalf of our freedom so that you and I can have this conversation this morning, and some who gave the ultimate